The girl hadn't spoken much since Ray brought her aboard. She sat quietly in the corner of his small ship, knees pulled to her chest, eyes fixed on the floor. The soft hum of the engine was the only sound between them. Ray wanted to ask questions, but something in her silence told him to wait. He made her a warm drink, simple nutrients. She stared at it for a long time before finally taking it. She sipped slowly. "You can rest here," Ray said gently. "No one will hurt you." Her eyes moved toward him for the first time since the rescue. "You don't even know me. You were left to die. That's enough." Her lips pressed into a line. "They said I was broken, that I didn't belong." Ray sat across from her, not too close. "Broken how?" Zelie shook her head. "You'll see." For the next few hours, she slept. It was restless, filled with quiet whimpers and jerks. Ray stayed awake, watching the radar and reviewing the ship logs. He tried to understand what kind of vessel she had been on. Military, scientific, but someone had wiped all the data clean. Nothing was left. No crew names, no history. Only one thing remained, a warning. "Do not engage. Dangerous anomaly on board." Ray looked over at the sleeping girl. She didn't look dangerous, just lonely. The next morning, if you could call it that in space, she wandered to the window. Stars floated outside like tiny fires. She reached her hand toward them, glowing blue fingers pressing against the glass. Ray approached quietly. "My people," she said without looking at him. "We live by perfection. If you don't fit, you disappear." Ray didn't answer. What could he say? "I used to be proud of who I was," she said. "I trained hard. I believed in our ways. Until one day, I changed." She turned to face him now. Her eyes weren't just glowing. They were shimmering, like they held energy inside them, barely controlled. "I started to feel things," she whispered. "Anger, sadness. I saw visions, things no one else could see. They thought I was sick. They tested me, poked, cut, scanned." Ray clenched his jaw. He didn't interrupt. "Then one day, they stopped, put me on a ship, locked the door, and drifted me into space." Ray couldn't believe what he was hearing. Not because it was impossible, but because it was all too real. Humanity had once done the same in older times. Hiding the broken, abandoning the unwanted. "You're not broken," Ray said finally. "You're awake." Zelie didn't reply. She just walked back to her corner. Suddenly, alarms blared. Ray rushed to the control panel. "What now?" A blinking red dot showed up on the radar. Someone was following them. He turned to Zelie. She had gone pale. "They're coming," she said softly. "They won't let me go." Ray gripped the controls. "Then they'll have to go through me first." The ship shook, not from a hit but from something deeper. A strange, silent pressure passed through its walls, like a wave of invisible force. Every light flickered. Ray jumped to the controls. "That's not a weapon." "What was that?" Behind him, Zelie stood frozen. Her skin glowed brighter than before. Her eyes were wide, not with fear this time, but something else. She wasn't breathing. "Zelie?" Ray moved toward her, careful. "Hey, are you okay?" Her body trembled. Then suddenly, light burst from her chest. Not a beam, but a pulse. It washed over the walls, crackled through the air, and knocked Ray backward. The lights went out. Only her glow remained. Ray groaned and sat up, blinking in the dark. He could barely see her outline. Then she spoke, voice low, like someone else was talking through her. "They're close. I feel them." Ray stood, heart pounding. "What do you mean, feel them? Who's close?" Zelie blinked hard and the glow faded. She collapsed to her knees, gasping for air. Ray caught her before she hit the floor. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I can't control it." "What was that?" Ray asked again, more gently now. "That wasn't tech. That was you." "I don't know what it is," she said. "I get these waves. Sometimes I see things. Sometimes things explode." Ray had seen aliens with strange powers before, telepathy, some energy manipulation, even time slowing in rare species. But this This felt different. Like she wasn't using power, like the power was using her. He carried her to the medbed. You need to rest. But Zelie grabbed his arm. If I sleep, they'll find me. I dream, and they see me. Ray paused. Dream? Who sees you? She looked straight at him. The ones who made me. Before he could ask more, the radar beeped again. A new signal, closer this time. Ray tapped into visuals. A sleek black ship moved through space like a knife. No lights, no ID codes. Silent, but fast. He knew the type, Alliance hunters. Elite units. Not soldiers. Cleaners. They didn't capture. They erased. They're locking onto us, Ray said. Zelie gripped the sides of the bed. You have to leave me. If they catch you helping me, they'll kill you too. Ray almost laughed. Bitter. You think I came this far just to throw you out the airlock now? He stood up. No, we're not running. Not this time. Zelie looked at him, confused. Then what? Ray's hands moved over the controls. We fight. But I'm not a soldier, she said. You don't have to be, Ray replied. Just stay alive. Outside, the black ship began charging weapons. Inside, Zelie closed her eyes and whispered something in her own language. A prayer, or maybe a warning. Her glow returned, steady now. Ray saw it, and smiled. Maybe, just maybe, she was starting to believe in herself. And if not, he would believe enough for both of them. The first shot hit like thunder. Ray's ship jolted sideways as a beam of white-hot energy sliced across the shields. Sparks flew from the ceiling. Smoke curled into the air. The lights flickered and dimmed again. He gritted his teeth, gripping the flight controls with both hands. Shields holding for now, he muttered. But even he didn't believe it. The Black Hunter ship moved like it had a mind of its own. No wasted motion. No warning shots. It was here to end them. In the back, Zelie sat with her arms wrapped tightly around herself, her skin glowing brighter with each hit. Her breath was shaky, eyes wide with panic. Ray could feel the pressure building inside her again, like she was trying to hold something back. They're not going to stop, she said. Ray glanced at her through the smoke. Then we don't stop either. He yanked the controls, throwing the ship into a steep dive between two asteroid clusters. The Hunter ship followed with deadly precision. Another shot skimmed the wing. Alarms screamed. The engine stuttered. Ray flipped a few switches, rerouting power. We can't outrun them, but maybe we can outsmart them. Zelie looked at the glowing asteroids outside the window. What are those? Charged rocks. Radiation pockets. Unstable, Ray said, eyes locked on the radar. One wrong move and the Hunter ship fired again. Ray dove straight toward the asteroid field. We go boom, he finished, half smiling. The ship weaved through jagged, glowing rocks. Each one buzzed with energy, unstable and deadly. The Hunter ship followed, slower now. Cautious. Ray tapped a button. I need 30 seconds. Can you buy me that? Zelie didn't answer. Instead, she stood up. Her hands trembled, her eyes glowing white now. Her body lit up like a star. The air around her shimmered, vibrating. She stepped to the back hatch. Open the cargo bay. What? Just do it. Ray hesitated, then obeyed. The back door opened into space. A barrier field held the atmosphere in. Zelie walked to the edge, her hair floating in the gravity-less air. She raised her hand. Ray watched the radar. The Hunter ship was getting closer, just seconds away. Then a pulse. Not from a weapon. From her. It rippled through space. Silent. Invisible. But real. One of the unstable asteroids lit up, then exploded. The shockwave spread fast, throwing debris everywhere. A massive chunk of rock slammed into the Hunter ship's side. Alarms flared on Ray's screen. Zelie collapsed. Ray closed the cargo door and rushed to her. Her skin was dim again, pale and cold. You didn't tell me you could do that, he whispered. I didn't know, she said faintly. I didn't try. Ray lifted her gently and carried her back to the medbed. You just saved both of us. Zelie's lips curved into the smallest smile. But the moment didn't last. On the screen, another signal appeared, not one ship this time. 3. The hunter wasn't alone. Ray's heart sank. And yet, deep down, he looked at the fragile girl glowing in his arms, and he still believed they had a chance. Because she wasn't what they said she was. She wasn't a weapon. She was something else. Something new. Something the galaxy had never seen before. And now it was too late to stop her. Ray didn't sleep. Not that night. Not after what he had just seen. 3 more hunter ships had appeared on the edge of the system, but they hadn't moved in. Not yet. They circled, watching, waiting, like wolves around a wounded deer. Inside the ship, the air was quiet. Too quiet. Xeno lay in the medbed, her skin still dim, her breathing soft and shallow. She looked peaceful, but Ray knew better. Every now and then her fingers would twitch, or her lips would move, like she was trapped in some silent dream. He sat beside her, watching, wondering, what was she? No, who was she? He'd seen aliens with gifts before. He'd seen cruelty, too. He had fought wars, lost friends, even lost faith more than once. But he had never seen anything like Xeno. Not just her power, not just her glow, but the way the galaxy reacted to her, like it wanted her gone. That kind of fear only came from one thing. Knowledge. Someone out there knew exactly who she was, what she could do. And they were terrified. He stood up, went to the control room and opened the encrypted channels. It was a risk, but he needed answers. There was one man who might help. Someone Ray had served with years ago. Someone who didn't follow orders anymore. The call connected after a long pause. A rough face appeared on screen. Older, tired, wearing a mechanic's suit stained with oil. Ray Carter, the man said. Didn't think I'd ever see your name again. I need information, Ray said. Something big, quiet, black file. The man raised an eyebrow. You always did jump into deep water without checking the sharks. Ray turned the camera slightly. Xeno was still sleeping behind him. The man leaned forward, eyes narrowing. Is that what I think it is? Ray said nothing. The man sighed. I'll send you coordinates. Meet me there. But be careful. If you've got her, you're not hiding. You're a target. Ray ended the call. Later, when the ship jumped into silent warp, Ray finally noticed something. Xeno was awake. She didn't speak at first, just stared at him. You're going to someone, she said quietly. Yes, he answered. Someone who might know what they did to you. I already know, she said. Ray sat down. Then tell me. She looked at her hands. I wasn't born like this. Ray waited. They made me, she said. My kind doesn't have powers. We're peaceful, logical, cold maybe, but clean. No fire, no feeling. I was part of a test. They said it was a program to help us evolve, to understand emotions. They lied. She looked up now, eyes shining. They tried to put too much power into something too young. I was the only one who survived. Ray's voice dropped. The others. Dead. Or worse. I don't know. They never told me. Just locked me up. Measured me. Watched me sleep. Watched me cry. She turned away. I thought maybe I was a monster. Ray stood and walked over. You're not. I am something they didn't understand, she whispered. And what people don't understand, they destroy. Ray looked out the window. Stars passed by silently. Not if I can help it. But deep in his gut, he knew this was bigger than both of them. Powers like hers didn't just happen. Not naturally. Someone built her, and someone still wanted her back. Or dead. And that someone was waiting. The planet below looked dead. Gray clouds hung low in the sky, swirling like smoke. Mountains of black rock stretched for miles, broken by sharp ridges and cracks in the earth that glowed faintly with red light. Ray's ship landed carefully between two jagged peaks. The wind howled outside, dry, angry. Xeno stood beside him at the airlock, silent. Her skin was dim again, her glow tucked deep inside. She was wearing one of Ray's old jackets, too big for her, sleeves hanging loose, but it made her look more human somehow. She stared at the landscape through the window. This place feels wrong. It is, Ray said. That's why he's here. The doors opened. They stepped out together into the wind. After a long walk across broken ground, they reached a metal bunker half buried in the stone. The door opened before they knocked. A familiar face greeted them. The old man from the call. His name was Kellen, former intelligence officer, now a ghost hiding in the dust. He looked at Zelie like she was a puzzle he couldn't solve. So it's true, he said. You brought the girl. She's not just a girl, Ray said. She's something they never should have made. Kellen led them inside. The bunker was filled with old tech. Broken drones, cracked screens, old data cores blinking weakly. He poured 3 cups of something hot and bitter. Zelie didn't drink hers. She was too focused on the old maps on the walls. Symbols she recognized and hated. You worked with them, she said suddenly. The ones who built me. Kellen didn't deny it. I worked in the shadows. Saw things that still keep me up at night. You were Project Halo. Designed to be the bridge between cold alien logic and human emotion. A new kind of mind, one that could think like us and feel like us. Zelie looked down. They didn't want a bridge, she whispered. They wanted control. They got scared, Kellen said. The moment you started dreaming, they shut it all down. You were never supposed to survive. Ray slammed his fist on the table. Then why are they still hunting her? Kellen's face darkened. Because she's evolving. He pulled up a screen. On it, news from across the galaxy, quiet stories. Power failures. People collapsing from strange visions. Whole outposts reporting bright lights in the sky. Then silence. She's connected now, Kellen said. To something bigger. Maybe the tech they put in her woke something ancient. Or maybe she's just the first spark of something new. Either way, they want her erased before it spreads. Outside, thunder rumbled. But there were no clouds. Zelie stood slowly. They're here. Ray looked at the radar. For new ships. All hunter class. No warning. No mercy. Kellen stood too. I'll hold them off. You run. Zelie shook her head. No. Ray looked at her. What do you mean no? I've been running my whole life, she said, eyes glowing again. Maybe it's time they ran from me. The room trembled. Lights flickered. Ray felt it again, the pressure in the air, the hum in his bones. Her power wasn't flaring out of control this time. It was focused. It was listening to her. Kellen backed away slowly. You don't understand. If you use it, there's no going back. Zelie turned to Ray. You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. Now I need you to believe in this. Ray nodded once. I do. Outside, the ships landed. Doors opened. Dark figures stepped into the dust. Weapons charged. But so did Zelie. And for the first time, she wasn't afraid of what she was. She was ready to show them. The ground cracked beneath her feet. Dust lifted into the air, hanging weightless for a moment before falling again like ash. The sky above the dead planet pulsed with strange light. Not natural, not machine-made. Came from her. Zelie stood alone in the open field outside the bunker. No cover. No weapon. Just her and the wind. Across from her, for hunter ships had landed in a perfect circle. Their ramps opened like the jaws of beasts. Soldiers stepped out, faceless in black armor, slow and steady, like they didn't believe anything could touch them. Inside the bunker, Ray watched from a small monitor, hands clenched, ready to charge in. But Kellen held him back. She's not alone, Kellen said. Not anymore. Ray's voice was low. They'll kill her. Kellen didn't take his eyes off the screen. They've already tried. And she's still standing. Zelie closed her eyes. She could feel the weight of them watching her. The ones who built her. The ones who called her a mistake. They were there, hidden behind the masks, watching, measuring. She could hear them in her mind. Old voices, cold and sharp. Too unstable. Terminate. Too emotional. They were wrong. Emotion wasn't her weakness. It was her fuel. The first shot came fast. A clean plasma beam aimed straight for her heart. It never touched her. Stopped midair. bending, cracking, dissolving into sparks. Like the universe had changed its mind. She opened her eyes. They were pure white now, no pupils, just light. Another shot came. And another. Each one failed to reach her. The soldiers paused. She stepped forward. Not running. Not hiding. The ground lit up beneath her with symbols. Glowing patterns only she could understand. They weren't from her planet. Not from Earth either. They were older. She didn't know how she knew that. She just did. The energy inside her wasn't just a weapon. It was a key. A link. She wasn't a machine. She wasn't a lab result. She was a door. And now it was open. The sky split above them, not torn, but awakened. A ripple moved across the stars, silent and deep. Somewhere far away, something stirred. Something that had been waiting for her, watching her grow. The hunters fired again, not to kill, but to panic. Too late. With a single step, Zelie rose from the ground. Floating now, the wind circling her body in slow, perfect spirals. She raised her hand and spoke. Her voice was layered, hers and something else older, fuller. You tried to destroy what you feared. You failed. I am not your weapon. I am not your mistake. The ships cracked open, engines failing. The soldiers dropped their weapons. Some ran. Some dropped to their knees. Zelie lowered to the ground. The light faded, and she stood, just a girl again. Breathing hard, eyes tired. Ray ran to her, ignoring the chaos behind them. He reached her just as she fell into his arms. I didn't mean to scare you, she whispered. Ray laughed softly. You didn't scare me. You scared them. Kellen walked out, looking around at the quiet battlefield. It's done. No, Ray said. It's just beginning. He looked down at Zelie. What now? She asked. He smiled. Now we go home. Where's that? Wherever you want it to be. She smiled weakly. Then let's build one. And so they did. Not with war. Not with fear. But with something the galaxy had almost forgotten. Hope. The stars were quiet that night. Space looked peaceful. But it was lying. A small human scout ship moved through the darkness. Inside, Lieutenant Ray Carter sat alone, watching his screen. He had just finished his patrol when he saw something strange. A weak signal blinking far in the distance. Ray frowned. Distress signal? He whispered. He opened the message. Help me. Please, anyone. The voice was soft. A girl's voice. Tired. Scared. Ray checked again. The signal came from an old alien ship. It was floating near an asteroid field, damaged and silent. No one else had answered it. The other patrols didn't care. But Ray couldn't ignore it. He changed course and headed straight toward the wreck. The broken ship looked empty from the outside. Lights were off. Hull was cracked. But the signal kept repeating again and again. As Ray stepped inside, his boots echoed on the metal floor. The air was thin. Lights flickered. Everything smelled like smoke and dust. He moved slowly, weapon in hand. Then he heard it, a soft breathing sound. In a dark corner, behind a broken panel, someone was hiding. Ray lowered his weapon. Hello? I'm here to help. No answer. He moved closer and saw her. A girl. Not human. Her skin was blue, glowing gently in the dark. Her eyes were wide with fear. She looked about 16 in human years. Dirty. Cold. Alone. She tried to back away, but there was no room. Ray raised both hands. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. The girl didn't speak. Her eyes stared at him, scared but curious. Ray knelt down slowly. My name is Ray. I'm a soldier from Earth. What's your name? She finally whispered. Zelie. Her voice was weak. Are you hurt? She shook her head. They left me. My people. They left me here to die. Ray felt something in his chest. Anger? Sadness? He wasn't sure. Why would they do that? She looked down. I was different. Ray saw the fear in her eyes. This wasn't just about being different. Something else had happened. He looked around. The ship was quiet. Too quiet. He noticed the control panel was broken on purpose. The logs were missing. Someone had made sure no one would ever know she was here. Ray offered his hand. "Come with me. I'll get you out." Zilly hesitated, then took it. They walked back to his ship step by step. As the doors closed behind them, Ray didn't know what he had just started. But deep down, he felt it. This girl was part of something bigger, something dangerous. And now he was part of it too.